I love zombies. More importantly, I love The Walking Dead.
There's a criminally underrated grain that could change the game with our food situation from scary to hunky-dunky.
Nice.
All right. Okay.
It's a franchise that's incredibly close to my heart. I've watched every episode of the TV series twice, along with all the spin-off shows. I've also played most of the games, but I draw the line at them fucking mobile games. Don't even ask me to play them, I'm not playing them. For me, The Walking Dead and by extension, Robert Kirkman's storytelling exemplifies a crucial element in storytelling: direction. Too many shows, movies, and even games nowadays feel too aimless, continuing simply for the sake of existing. But Kirkman's work, especially, in my eyes, my two favourites, The Walking Dead and Invincible, they feel deliberate. Every page tells a story, every line of dialogue feels impactful and important, and every moment serves the greater story. Now, as much as I love the TV show, and would love to talk about it, trust me I would, I've rewatched it all the way through twice and I would love to do it again, it has its flaws. When compared to the original comic, some of the writing changes were, let's say, less than stellar. That said, there were some brilliant additions, for example, Daryl Dixon.
Listen to me, Olive Oil. I was out there looking for that little girl every single day. I took a bullet and an arrow in the knee.
And I am very much in the camp that if he dies, I will stop watching the show. Just kidding, AMC, but don't kill him off. Please don't. I love Norman Reedus very much. And they were also able to create some other great unique characters. I mean, look at Fear the Walking Dead Season 3. That season of that show is peak Walking Dead to a lot of Walking Dead fans. And John Dory, from Season 4 and 5, is in my eyes one of the most underrated characters in the entire Walking Dead universe. Shame he, name of the show. But my love for The Walking Dead didn't start with the show, or even the comic book itself. It started with...
You've been all by yourself through this?
I know who you are. You're Lee Everett. You're a professor at Athens who killed a state senator who was sleeping with your wife.
Well, I reckon you didn't do it then.
Need to hope that we can go back to our jobs soon, Lee. Back to normal.
There's something going on. Hello? Anybody?
Okay, so I think I need to explain this video a little bit and the next 6 videos. Yes, I'll be making 6 videos on just the Telltale Walking Dead Season 1. Not each season, just the one game itself. Each video will cover a single episode in the Telltale Walking Dead Season 1. This will allow me to go in as much detail as I believe the game truly deserves, and personally, I want to make this my biggest video yet. Think of it as each part of a video, and eventually at the end I'll then collate them all together and put them out as one big video. But to give you guys a video every so often, I'll be putting out each episode as like a chapter, so don't expect me to do the full analysis of the game in this episode. You'll have to wait for a while, but I'll definitely try to put in some analysis of the characters and everything as I'm going along and talking about them, just to make the videos flow a bit well and feel a bit good. But after each episode as well, I'll be pulling out the main message I took from it and everything like that, so don't worry about that. You'll still get basically a critcroc video, you'll get 6 of them in fact, but you'll then get one big super one at the end of it, so hopefully this does well. If you enjoy it, please like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want, it's always appreciated, and if you guys like this, it will tell me that you want more videos like this, and eventually I might do the 2nd season, maybe The Wolf Among Us, or any other Telltale games, or Telltale adjacent type games. Enough of that, back to the video. Now, if you're here for just the game breakdown and you don't want history on Telltale as a company, here's your timestamp and there's chapters in the description, so if you want to jump around when this is a more longer video, so feel free to do that. But for those interested in the history of the developer, let's dig in a bit. Telltale Games is a legendary company in the gaming industry, founded in 2004 by former LucasArts developer Kevin Bruner, Dan Connors, and Troy Molander. Telltale focused on narrative-driven games with minimal player interaction, heavily inspired by classic games in this style like Sam & Max and Monkey Island. Initially, Telltale found some moderate success, with games based on well-known franchises like Bone, CSI, Wallace & Gromit, Sam & Max, and Monkey Island. It's like they never fucking left LucasArts. But they first found decent success with their first big game, I guess, Back to the Future. This game put them on the map commercially and critically. This success itself allowed them to basically catch the eye of other brands, allowing them to acquire bigger IPs, as after this game they then got Jurassic Park and Law & Order. However, while the games were solid, they weren't bringing enough revenue to allow Telltale to truly expand to create even bigger and better projects. And it would stay like this until The Walking Dead entered the picture. Now, interestingly, Telltale's first choice for a zombie game they wanted to make a zombie game wasn't The Walking Dead. They initially wanted to pitch the generic zombie idea to Valve, hoping that they would allow them to tie it into Left 4 Dead. However, those talks never actually happened. Instead, Telltale partnered with Skybound Entertainment, with Skybound Entertainment being the ones that actually hunted them down, seemingly, to make the game itself. But a lot of people ask, why was The Walking Dead game, Season 1 specifically, so good? Why was it such a groundbreaking success? Why was it Game of the Year winner when it came out at the Spike Awards? Why was it that good? How was it any different from the other 20 Telltale games that came after it? And why Walking Dead? Why not a Sam & Max game or Jurassic Park or Back to the Future for fuck's sake? Why was it this game specifically that grew and became this massive thing? Well, it's because of one name, Robert Kirkman. This fucker really is the GOAT. Kirkman's storytelling prowess is undeniable. Every project he touches is gold, whether it's the Walking Dead comic itself, or the early seasons of the TV show which he was more involved with, or even the new Invincible animated TV series. They all share a commitment to strong narratives and meaningful character development. Kirkman was somewhat involved in the development of Telltale's game, ensuring that it captured the same essence of the comic that he made, the comic that made the TV show. I often feel like the comic itself is forgotten by a lot of people, but his writing is really that good. Yeah, it's not for everyone, I will admit that, but I think it's a great piece of media, and honestly, read it. If you're not a fan of The Walking Dead and zombies, read Invincible, that's just as good, if not better. Now, while he didn't create the game himself, he offered guidance and shaped the story, ensuring that its narrative fitted to the general theme and story and tone of his world that he created. But he also kept a tight leash on the narrative team themselves, ensuring that the narrative itself didn't derail into mindless whatever, kind of like what happened during the war arc in the AMC show. That was way too many episodes, and hey, would you look at that, that was probably when the Kirkman stepped back from the TV show himself and let them do what they wanted with it. Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 1 perfectly embodies Kirkman's style, delivering an emotionally charged story that felt as impactful as the comic. Unfortunately, the later seasons didn't quite maintain that same magic that they seemed to capture with this game, but the first season still, to this day, in my eyes, remains a masterpiece, and I believe is the greatest story game that has ever been made. Now, why am I saying this? Well, I want to basically show you that this game itself was set up for success. Telltale was hungry to make that big game. They were still trying to prove themselves in the industry and show that they could step out of the shadow of LucasArts, that they could make that one big game that would make them be able to grow and expand their business. Skybound Entertainment really wanted this game to be made. The final piece, Robert Kirkman, being involved with the narrative would ensure that it kept the same tone, style, and character writing style that he is so well known for, and is why the TV show initially did so well, and even his comics are so great. So now that we've dabbled in the history of Telltale and I've explained why this game is set up to be such a success, let's actually dive into the game now and I'll explain why it is a masterpiece. Starting Episode 1, A New Day. We fade into Atlanta, the key city in the Walking Dead universe, and swing in to join a cop cruiser, and we meet our main protagonist, Lee Everett, played by one of my favourite voice actors in the industry, Dave Fennoy, who played Lucius Fox in the Arkham games and Howard in the Insomniac Spider-Man games. And back in the cop car, he is in handcuffs. Straight away to us, this indicates that Lee is not a perfect man, having committed a crime and being driven to prison out of Atlanta.
Well, I reckon you didn't do it then.
Now here we're introduced to Telltale's main game mechanic, which is dialogue and interacting with the environment and its items. I don't mind this system, a lot of people don't like it, but I think the very simple nature of it allows you to get more immersed in the world and allows you to really think about what you're talking about and saying to each character. It makes the actual speaking part of the game more gameplay. This is what I think a lot of like visual novels and games with a lot of dialogue want to try and make their dialogue like. They want to make it more gamey, and they don't really do it. While Telltale, it is very much a game. You have to think about what each option leads to, but you have a time limit. So you can't think about it too long or you won't say anything in general. So you have to pick very quickly. It makes these moments where you're deciding what you want to do very intense, even though not a lot's happening, but you want to make sure that you say the right thing at the right time, and I really do like that, and it's something I love about these games specifically. Now, in addition to this, we learn a little bit about Lee himself.
I followed your case a little bit, you being a Macon boy and all.
He is a boy from Macon, a city in Georgia.
You're from Macon, then?
Yep, came up to Atlanta to be a city cop in the 70s. I always wanted to work a murder case. Like that senatorial mess you got yourself mixed up in, with all due respect.
So the cop states that he wants to work a murder case, and he says it's like the mess that we got ourselves mixed up in, indicating that Lee did commit a murder, meaning that the cop would have liked to work on our case, but obviously he was not able to due to that's not how it works. You don't pick and choose your cases, you're given them. But it does tell us that Lee murdered someone, specifically a senator.
A real shame, that is. Hell, the whole family used to be regulars at your folks' drugstore right in downtown. Still there?
Sure is.
Good.
And Lee's family run a small pharmacy, displaying that Lee is a true local man of the area. He was born and bred in Georgia, Macon. He knows it like the back of his hand, and it will explain how he will understand how to get around and why he wants to go to certain spots.
Any of that seem important to you?
All of it, but that box never shuts up. Sit in this seat and pay too much attention and you'll drive yourself crazy. I got a nephew up at UGA. You teach there long?
Going on my 6th year.
Lee's employment was at the University of Georgia, indicating that he has a higher level of education, meaning he is a more civilized man. I'm only kidding. And also, being a teacher should indicate that he should be able to get along with people more easily. A teacher and a professor at a university is a more social job. You have to indicate with a lot of younger people and also other members of staff in general to make sure that you're doing the right thing. This means that Lee should be someone that is able to get along very easily with other people, especially younger people. However, Lee, when questioned by the cop about his wife, seems to not like the topic of this being brought up.
You meet your wife in Athens?
This definitely indicates some sort of bad blood with his family in general. Maybe that's why he's in the back of the police car. Maybe it's something to tie into his family of why he's actually here.
Sure.
Regardless, could be you just married the wrong woman.
Riot in progress. All officers are available for incoming 217. Rolling calls to dispatch.
You'll have to learn to stop worrying about things you can't control.
Now, as we're driving along, you'll notice that a bunch of police cars keep coming in. It starts with 1, then 3, then a police helicopter, and then the radio is going crazy, making reports of a riot in progress. I'm sure they're not walkers at all.
Didn't do it. He was an older fella, big soft eyes behind a pair of smart folk glasses, and he just wailing back there. Says it wasn't him. Crying and snotting all over right where you're sitting.
Officers are available for incoming 217.
And a report for all officers to respond to a 217, or, in America, the police code for an assault with intent of murder. Having all officers respond to a single event of this seems a bit extreme in my eyes, because you wouldn't want to have every single officer you have respond to a single murder thing, but it's a riot, so potentially there's multiple going on. Yes, zombies, so they want all officers to go there. Of course, the cop that was driving us, he doesn't care, he turns his radio off and he keeps going. Now, one piece of dialogue I think I really want to highlight here, and I think shows us the focus of this chapter, is the cop telling us,
You'll have to learn to stop worrying about things you can't control.
we shouldn't worry about things we cannot control. Of course, ironic, which is what is about to happen with the whole zombie outbreak, but it does put a good question. Should you worry about things you cannot control in your life? Should we care about big weather events that aren't scary? Recently here in the UK, we had massive winds that did some extreme damage, but should we worry about them? We can't control them, so should we worry? Of course, you should worry. These are things that aren't dangerous to people, and you should always worry about things you cannot control, because then you can potentially prepare for it. That is the main thing of how you reduce damages, preparation. While we can't stop it, we can reduce it, which is a very good thing. And what we're seeing here in the Walking Dead universe, people aren't trying to reduce the problem, they're making it worse. Engaging with the zombies with not understanding what they are means more zombies.
It goes to show, people will up and go mad when they believe their life is over.
A very interesting point, and we will definitely see that come into the game very quickly as time goes on.
I got another good one for you.
Ah, a pedestrian crossing the road. I'm sure the cop's gonna stop.
If I do say so. This other time...
We come to hearing screaming, groaning, and gunfire. 3 of my favorite things in the morning. Fully coming to, we find the car is a wreck. Lee's leg is...
Fuck. My leg.
We can see the cop out cold on the floor with his gun by his side. This, one thing, displays that he was actively engaged with another person, trying to shoot them or trying to get them to stop whatever they were doing. But whoever he was using the gun against got the better of him. And Lee makes a rather interesting comment.
Officer? Oh, that doesn't look good. He wasn't ejected from the car. He's not moving.
The cop was not ejected out of the car. The cop was dragged out of the car forcibly, seemingly. So, to me, this indicates that there is something in these woods that we should be scared of. Dragging ourselves out of the window and into the world, we can damage our leg some more. And we find the cop's shotgun on the floor. The gun is an FN SLP, a standard bit of kit for the time. A very reliable shotgun that isn't anything crazy. Standard 12 gauge. Now in trying to pick up the gun, Lee comments we need to get the cuffs off before we even think about grabbing the gun itself. But we can grab the shell on the floor. Approaching the cop, we see the keys on his rear, and making the best of a bad situation, we try to free ourselves from the handcuffs. Spooky. Of course, it's a staple zombie jump scare. It's, you know, a classic. It's bread and butter. I guess not then.
Officer?
Lee falls back and we enter the first combat thing, I guess. It's not really like combat, it's kind of like a quick time event. We crawl back and now we have to grab the shotgun and load it with the single 12 gauge round that we have, with Lee being a bit of a butterfingers, but he does eventually get that thing in the gun and then kills the cop. Now for those who don't understand how big of a deal this is, let me explain the world of The Walking Dead. Within the universe of The Walking Dead, the popular zombie trope, the idea that originated with the original Romero movies, did not exist. The movies themselves never actually existed, meaning the idea of zombies was not as popular in pop culture as it is in our world, meaning most people don't know what a fucking zombie is. While the word zombie does exist because it has very ancient origins, specifically to African cultures, the actual idea of them Romero zombies, which basically inspired all zombie media to ever be made, didn't exist, so we don't know about them. This then explains why other terms are being used by certain characters to call the zombies. Of course, the big one is walkers, but you also have things like geeks, roamers, lurkers, chompers, rotters, dead ones, biters, corpses, lame brains, empties, freaks, guardians, heads, hissers, deadheads, cold bodies, uglies, epidermis, epicureans, munchers, rippers, sickos, stinkers, the dead, the damned, the infected, and so many more. There is so many names that they've gone by in all of the series, TV shows, to the comic, to this game itself. There's a lot. This whole concept is used to explain why the zombie apocalypse did so well, why it was able to spread so effectively. There is other reasons, but this is one aspect to it. If you don't have the idea of what they are, you can't prepare for them. This is then also obviously used to explain why no one is scared of what is very clearly a zombie, because they don't know what the fuck they are. They just think they're normal people that are a bit ill. And it also explains why some people will refuse to kill them, because hey, they still believe they're still human, because if there's no zombie land in the world, that means there's no rules for the apocalypse. So Lee shooting the cop, he believes that he probably just shot a real cop, displaying how Lee is as a character. He is willing to get his hands truly dirty and really do something heinous to protect himself. Would he do it for another person? We don't know yet, but we know that he'll do it for himself. The gun now being empty, Lee discards it to the side. In the distance, we see a small girl.
Help! Go get someone! There's been a shooting!
With the girl running off, we hear rustling in the woods, and a bunch of walkers come stumbling out. Lee with his injured leg making a break for the fence and jumping in. We land in a back garden, with the walkers banging on the fence, obviously wanting to eat Lee. But they stop at the sound of gunfire, now showing to Lee that while the walkers are deadly, they are easily fooled and led astray by distractions, a clue he will use later on to very good effect. And him being the smart man he is, he knows something is wrong. He knew that there was something wrong with that cop, something that he doesn't understand, but something is going on. The person in the road, all the cop cars and helicopters going to the city, and the reports on the radio about the many riots occurring. He knows something is happening in the world. The garden offering some respite, we can investigate the general surroundings, finding a small tea set with Lee again commenting how thirsty he is.
Those teacups with some bourbon if I could. No ladder.
And a treehouse. Now you can call out to the treehouse to see if anyone's in there, but there is no response.
Anybody up there? Hello? Anybody in there? I thought I saw a little girl in the forest. Are you up there? I'm not one of those things. I guess it's empty.
Waddling our way to the back door.
Hello? Anybody home? I need a little help. Oh, there's something going on.
With no one responding to Lee's pleas and cries for help, he makes his way inside.
Coming in. Don't shoot, okay? Ah, shit. Hello? I'm not an intruder. Or one of them.
Within the house, we find a grisly sight with furniture overturned and blood slathered all over the floor.
These people may need more help than I do.
Investigating the house, we seem to find a few key items, some of them which seem to belong to a younger child, a younger girl to be more specific, and on the wall a photo frame with handprints for a Clementine, and the answering machine beeps at us with 3 messages being on it.
3 new messages. Message 1, left at 5:43 p.m.
Hey, Sandra, this is Diana. We're still in Savannah. Ed had a little incident with some crazy guy near the hotel, so we had to get him back to the ER and have it checked out. Anyway, he's not feeling well enough to drive back tonight, so we're staying an extra day. Thanks so much for looking after Clementine, and I promise we'll be back in time before your spring break.
Well, that ain't good. Now, Diana and Ed seem to be the parents of Clementine, but Ed got injured and is now in the ER because of some crazy guy. I'm sure it's not a zombie at all. Message 2 is a little bit more sinister.
Oh my god, finally. I don't know if you tried to reach us. All the calls are getting dropped. They're not letting us leave and aren't telling us anything about Atlanta. Please, just leave the city and take Clementine with you back to Murrieta. I've got to get back to the hospital. Please let me know that you're safe.
This is when the military started to control the movement and communication of people, something that the government will very much do if a disaster situation like this would ever occur. They don't want things getting out, they want to control it as much as they can. And Message 3 and Diane asked Sandra, the babysitter, to take Clementine out of the city area just outside of Atlanta and take her more north to another city. And Message 3
left at 6:51 a.m.
Clementine, baby. If you can hear this, call the police. That's 911. We love you. We love you. We love you.
All hope is lost, with the message being cut short, and very much it indicates that Clementine's parents did die. And by the sight in this house, we can assume that Clementine did not leave the house. Lee then picks up a photo frame of the family, and we see the whole family's real faces, obviously giving them a more human feel than just the disembodied voices that we just heard. A very touching scene in my eyes.
Daddy?
But a voice comes through the radio from what sounds to be a young girl.
Hello?
You need to be quiet.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. They tried to get me, but I'm hiding until my parents come home.
What's your name?
I'm Clementine. This is my house.
Hi, Clementine. I'm Lee. Where are your parents?
They took a trip and left me with Sandra. They're in Savannah, I think, where the boats are.
With her saying that they tried to get her and she's hiding until her parents come home. Asking for her name, she informs us that yes, she is indeed Clementine, the girl who lives here and voiced extremely well, I might add, by Melissa Hutchinson. Now, Clementine was left with a babysitter, with her parents going to Savannah. So we're in Atlanta. Now, I'm not American, but just looking at this map, that is quite a far distance. Asking Clementine where she is, she shows us.
Where are you?
I'm outside in my treehouse. They can't get in.
That's smart.
See? Can you see me? I can see you through the window.
I really like this introduction to Clementine, because she doesn't come across as a run-to-you, crying, asking for help kind of character. She shows that she is quite a smart kid. She's able to take care of herself, and she's been able to survive so far for however long the apocalypse is going on for. Even the idea and knowledge of walkers being unable to get to her because they can't climb is something she figured out on her own, showing she is quite methodical and she understands what she's doing. With Clementine waving at us through the window, we finally get to see her real face.
You through the window.
We now get jumped by the babysitter, who is now a walker. We fight it off, but things get rather hairy, with us falling over and hitting our head, but eventually we do make it to the back door, but the walker is still on us. But Clementine does come to our aid and gives us a claw hammer. Now again, this shows how resourceful Clementine actually is. Even the fact that she kept her cool and came to us to help us shows she's one, not only a brave young person, and two, the fact she even had a fucking hammer in the first place for protection displays she understands to the extent what is happening. She knows her life is at risk, a sad thought that a child should be having, but she knows that she has to protect herself because no one else will do it at the moment. But I know some of you might be asking, how long does the apocalypse actually take to start in the Walking Dead universe? Well, the start of the Walking Dead's apocalypse is a bit murky, but the most concrete answer we get is with Fear the Walking Dead. I know the TV show and the comic universe, with the game is set in the comic universe, they're different, but we can use them to sort of line up the events because the same events take place just at different times. In the comic book, the start of the apocalypse started on July 19th, 2003. In the TV show, they moved it to 2010 and a few months forward, I think to August, but the original comic universe, which the Telltale games set in, is 2003. But how long did it take for society to collapse? With the first walker appearing on July 19th, how long would it take for them to spread out and basically everyone to become infected and the world to fall apart? Well, Rick Grimes in the original TV show and the comic, it was about 4 to 5 weeks into the apocalypse, where all semblance of civilization had fallen, so we know it was at least, at a maximum it was 4 to 5 weeks. But we can actually use the Fear the Walking Dead show, which is a very underrated show by the way, and especially the first 3 seasons. The ones after that were a bit but the first 3 seasons are peak. But the show's first season showed us the first-hand accounts of the start of the outbreak, literally the day 0 events. The first episode is pretty normal. You have some of these same sort of news reports that we were getting in this one, but by the end of the season, it was full on apocalypse, with some parts of the government still functioning. Now, if I remember correctly, the government employed martial law on the 4th day, and society fully fell soon after. So if I had to guess, the start of the Telltale games takes place either on day 2 or day 3, or very early in day 4. If I had to guess, it would be day 3. I know they're not the same universe, but again, we can use these two events to create a general idea because they're both, the AMC show is based off of the comic book, so we can kind of guess that these same events took place to lead up to what happened in the actual show. So Clementine, at most, was potentially on her own for 1 to 4 days. My guess, she was probably on her own for 1 day. They were on the outskirts of the city, so I'd assume that the babysitter was not bitten straight away by a walker. It might have been a few days, or maybe just 1 day after the first walker appeared and then she got bit and died or whatever. But all things considered, it shows that Clementine is a very resourceful person, especially for such a young girl. But now dealing with the Zombambo, we now get fully introduced to Clementine.
Hi there.
Did you kill it?
I don't know. I think so.
Sometimes they come back.
Have you killed one?
No, but they get shot a lot.
You've been all by yourself through this?
Yeah, I want my parents to come home now.
I think that might be a little while, you know?
Oh.
Look, I don't know what happened, but I'll look after you until then.
A peak character right here. She really is the only reason people kept going with the later seasons. Anyway, with the question posed to us to find help, we are given 2 options to look for help. Either before it gets dark or leave once the sun goes down. 2 different options with 2 completely different outcomes. Now, why would you pick either one? Well, going out in the dark is, let's say, dangerous, with most of the unagreeable types being active during that time, but going during the day you are much easier to spot, and with Lee just coming from a cop car, we could understand why Lee might want to wait until nightfall to slink about undetected, but we have a little girl with us, so in my eyes the better choice would be the daytime, and also we don't want to waste daylight as, hey, it's a zombie apocalypse. But hey, let's see what each of them lead to, starting with leaving at night.
We need to get out of this neighborhood. It's not safe. We're less likely to be seen if we move at night.
My parents might come home.
We won't go far. We'll try to find shelter and come back here with others.
That sounds good. We can hide in my treehouse until then.
It'll be a tough climb with this leg, but that's a good idea.
The 2 decide to wait until nightfall in the treehouse. With nightfall here,
now let's stay quiet. We'll head out to the front yard and follow the road out of the neighborhood.
Okay.
It'll be okay. Stay near me, and we'll move as fast as we can.
we exit through the side gate into the street.
I found the bastard!
Well, Lee's efforts in trying to avoid the cops has ended rather well, with the first person Lee meets after leaving the house is a fucking cop.
Stay down! Georgia State Patrol!
The engagement seemingly getting worse.
We fucking got him!
Dude, those things aren't afraid of bullets. These are
But when the cop
survivors.
approaches, he states, insert.
Oh shit, you're not one of those things.
Neither of us are.
Oh, damn, you've got a little girl. We're sorry about that. Well, Andre's sorry about that.
It's Officer Mitchell.
We meet Andre Mitchell, a police officer,
My name's Sean. Sean Green.
and Sean Green. Wait, the Greens? Yes, them Greens. And spoilers for the comic and TV show, we do see Sean as a zombie, so we know what's going to happen during this game. This is something that the Telltale games do really well. They tie in comic book and, I guess, TV show characters, but the comic book characters into the storyline a little bit. Not too much, they do it occasionally. And it creates a really nice world because it makes the world feel more fleshed out and it makes the world feel more connected. It also means that we know that the other survivors are in the world. We know that Rick Grimes is in this world. We know that Michonne's in this world. We know that all of them are in this world. Now, the earlier episodes do have a couple of them, but the later episodes in the season completely focus on the original characters to give the game its own identity apart from the original comic book run. Now, Sean here is searching for his friend Chet, who apparently got attacked by a walker. Now, Sean offers us help with our leg and a safe place to rest if we help him find Chet.
Look, help us find the thing that got our buddy, and we'll take you and your daughter down to my dad's farm to safety. He should be able to fix your leg up too.
I'm not a dad.
Now, Sean believing we are Clementine's father, we can correct him with a range of answers, choices being babysitter, neighbour, or just some guy. Honestly, none of them make that much of a difference, but change the dialogue up a bit, it means you'll have to keep your story straight when you meet the man of the house later.
Oh shit, it's Chet.
Let's go, get the
Okay, with the police officer doing the most American cop thing, pulling a gun straight away at something, the gang now retreat to the car and drive off, leaving Chet alive. In a way, I guess. But what if we chose to leave during the day?
We need to find help before it gets dark.
Yeah, it's not safe at night.
Let's go. Stay close to me.
We again meet Sean, but this time Chet is still alive. This one simple choice can dramatically change the outcome of this very small event.
Oh, it's hot dish night.
Now, before meeting the two, Clementine is worried about her parents returning and her not being there. Now, unfortunately, we know they ain't coming back. But if the phone call was anything to go by, they also instructed the babysitter to leave the house and take Clem with her. So, if the parents did somehow escape and not get taken by the walkers, they wouldn't really think Clementine would be at the house. They might go back to check, but they told her to take Clementine to Marietta. And the parents would probably look at the house because it is on the way to Marietta from Savannah, but there's no guarantee. But Lee is a caring man, with him telling Clem that he won't leave her, and they agree to go somewhere close by that isn't too far from the house. Now, actually talking to the two lads, it goes about the same overall.
Hey, man.
The same introductions, same sort of dialogue. But this time, instead of looking for Chet, because he's right there, you know, he's still alive, they ask for some help moving a car. With a group of walkers making their way towards the car, they need to move it fast and escape the Zeds. All of them jumping in the pickup truck, they now drive off, and so ends the first choice of the game.
For just some guy, it seems like you've saved a bunch of lives today.
I really like this because it outlines how a simple choice, which doesn't seem too impactful, can have major consequences. I mean, a whole character dies depending on your choice. Now, the only issue with this is you never actually understand or get to learn what the other choice is in your first playthrough. But replaying the game, it makes it so cool to revisit these small events and see how the game changes. And now we enter the Green farm and meet Herschel Green.
Thank God you're okay.
Yes, that Herschel Green. Herschel is a man's man. He believes in hard work, keeping to the rules, and if you mess up your story, he will call you out on you lying. While Herschel may seem a bit standoffish at first, he is kind and generous enough to offer us some medical attention and a place to sleep. Now, interestingly, your choice earlier does influence some of the dialogue. For example, going at night.
Hey, Dad, so I'm thinking, first thing tomorrow, we gotta reinforce the fence around the farm.
But what happened to your friend? Maybe that's not a bad idea.
Herschel is scared of what is out there and does believe fortifying the farm is for the best, but going during the day.
Dad, so I'm thinking, first thing tomorrow, we gotta reinforce the fence around the farm.
That doesn't seem necessary.
Herschel is more oblivious, not believing it is as bad as it is, and that it won't reach their little farm. If only he knew what will happen to his farm. With Lee being patched up, he and Clementine head to the barn where another family of 3 is sleeping, agreeing to help Sean in the morning to pay for the kindness that they offered them. Herschel is more used to introduce to the player of how talking to other characters can affect their opinion of you specifically. If you slip up and lie, or you're not being honest, or you're just being a dick, Herschel picks up on it and starts to not trust you and give you a bit of a hard time. And even giving your name is used to display the game's mechanic of information. Giving away too much can actually be to a detriment or to your benefit, as it will allow people to become more trustful of you, or potentially it could lead to more problems in the future.
It smells like
Manure.
manure? Like when a horse plops?
Just like that.
I miss my mom and dad.
I bet, Clem.
How far is Savannah?
Pretty far.
Oh, okay.
I love this scene. It's so simple, but it really starts to shape well. You also get to see how Lee can influence Clementine, as if you choose what most people would say, the uncivilized name for Manure, Clementine picks up on it and learns it. and from these actions, she might repeat them. So now you start to think to not act on your own behalf, but to benefit Clementine specifically, and teach her the correct lessons, and try to make yourself a better person in general, becoming a parental figure to Clementine, and someone that she will follow their example of. During the night, Lee starts to have a nightmare about his wife, and it seemingly ended with violence. Again, indicating to why he was in the cop car. Now waking up, we meet the GOAT himself.
Hey, get up.
Kenny, a top-tier character voiced masterfully by Gavin Hammond. Now Kenny is the father to the other family who are sleeping in the barn.
I'm itchy.
Well, you slept in a barn, little lady. Lucky you don't have spiders in your hair. But I bet your daddy scared them all away, huh?
I'm, not her dad. Name's Lee.
I'm Kenny.
Dad, we're in the middle of a fence. There's a tractor and everything.
We meet his son, Kenny Jr.
We better get going, or we won't hear the end of it. That's my boy, Ken Jr. We call him Duck, though.
Dodging or quacking?
Quacking.
Dad!
See?
Voiced by Max Kaufman. And something you will realize very quickly about Duck is he is, quite energetic. He very clearly has some symptoms of ADHD, but he's a very good kid, so who cares? And Duck offers that level of innocence that he is going to act as a foil to Clementine, two kids who are very different in how they act, and it will be used to show a very key point of The Walking Dead's overall message in the future. We also meet Kenny's wife, Katja, voiced by Cissy Jones.
The word is you were on your way to Macon.
My family's from there.
Well, Macon's on the way, and personally, I'd appreciate the company of a guy who can knock a couple of heads together if he has to.
I'll see what the girl would like.
Ah, gotta consult the missus. I understand. Honey, Duck, this is Lee. And, what's the girl's name?
Clementine.
Clementine.
That is a very pretty name.
They have offered us a ride to Macon. Very kind of them. Kenny is instantly extremely friendly. He is a character which you'll feel naturally chill around. He's a proper brewski brother. He is someone that you're meant to feel very comfortable around. He's meant to be that sort of character. The Walking Dead often have three characters, like trios. You often have the two main ones and then like a side character. In this, Lee and Clementine are the two like main characters. They're the main ones that have a lot of the development, but Lee and Kenny are the like two side characters. In The Walking Dead, it is often you have a character, their significant other, like their girlfriend or wife, and then they have like a bro character. In the TV show, for example, it was like Rick Grimes with Laurie, and then you had Shane, but then later on it changed to Rick Michonne, and then you had Daryl as his like best friend character. It's used a lot, and you'll often see this. There is often trios in the show that is used to sort of like tell little mini stories and mini relationship dramas. It's something that they always do, and even in this game there is always trios of characters, and you'll very quickly notice that. With Sean approaching, he asks us to get to work on the fence.
Seeing what those things can do out there, so the faster we get this fence up, the better.
I want to build a fence.
Yeah? Well, I need a good foreman. You can sit on the tractor and yell at me whenever I take a water break.
On a tractor? Cool!
Duck and I will hop to it.
I can keep an eye on your little girl here on the porch. We can visit.
And now we can talk to everyone else to check up on them. Talking to Katja.
How did you handle getting through the city?
Kenny just drove.
We can learn quite a bit about her and their time during the apocalypse, how they passed people escaping, and how she was a veterinarian. A very useful skill as time goes on, as some of those skills definitely transfer over to people. A key point she makes is,
need to hope that we can go back to our jobs soon, Lee. Back to normal. It can't stay like this.
hoping that everything will return to normal and that they need to maintain hope for a better future. We can also learn that Clementine is in first grade. But wait, isn't she 8, which she stated in her house earlier? Well, this is a mistake. Clementine was originally going to be 7, but they changed it last minute, but they probably forgot to change some lines of dialogue and re-record everything. It's just one very small mistake that is just very odd. She was probably meant to say 2nd grade, but hey, it's a small mistake that occasionally crops up here, because I don't think Clementine would be held back. She seems to be a very smart girl in general, especially for her age. Well, let's go check on Kenny now.
Hey there, Kenny. Need any help?
No, I think I got it. Do you need any help?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean in taking care of that little girl. You know what you're doing? You got kids of your own?
Nah, no kids.
Would've liked one then.
You know.
Well, now we learn also not only quite a bit about Kenny, but also a lot about Lee. Lee didn't have any kids, but he seemingly would have liked to have kids, potentially indicating at what happened between him and his wife.
So what's your family's plan?
Get back on down to Lauderdale and let this mess get sorted out. Government will start handing out shots and the National Guard will do its thing. On the odd chance things got too bad, we could hop on my boat, I guess.
You've got a boat?
I'm a commercial fisherman, catching mackerel, dolphin, whatever's biting and paying. Katya wouldn't be wild about it, but the boat's not that bad.
Kenny also informs us about his job. He is a fisherman, a very useful job in the apocalypse because it will allow you to catch food.
How's your son doing?
Good, I think. Katya's got a sister up in Memphis. We were coming back from visiting her. We were in a gas station and some guy grabbed my boy. I thought he was kidnapping him. I was on the fucker in about 2 seconds and... Christ. Just lucky I was there. We saw a lot of bodies before we stumbled upon Herschel's. But we're a tough family, Lee. Ain't nothing gonna faze us.
See you.
It's not the most reliable pickup in the world, but it gets the job done.
Kenny then recounts the events which involved him and his family encountering a walker, grabbing his son, showing how his son is, let's say, careless and will probably get himself into danger in the future, as if it happens once, it will probably happen again and again and again and again. I'm sure this will not lead to a problem, as I stated, in the future, which will definitely lead to a very hard choice. Okay, with everyone spoken to, let's go see if Sean needs help.
How you doing, Doc?
Good. I'm gonna drive the tractor. I'm the foreman. Lift with your back, Sean.
Offering Sean some help, we can now chat and get some information about his experience of the apocalypse.
The length, that sure speed things up. My dad doesn't know how bad it is.
No, he doesn't.
I saw a guy in Atlanta kill a kid. A boy. Just shot him right in the face.
Damn.
No shit, damn. He didn't even hesitate. He just turned, put the barrel of the gun right between the kid's eyes, and pulled the trigger. You don't see things like that. It's not like in the movies.
They don't fall like you think.
Did you have to do it?
Do what?
Kill. Have you had to off one yet?
Oh, I bashed a poor girl's brains in.
Whoa. I couldn't do that. I'm just glad we're getting this fence built. Dad just wants to keep the family safe and thinks inviting people in is a bigger threat than whatever's out there. How about yours? How's your family?
My brother and parents are in Macon. I hope.
Oh man, I hope so too. Maybe it's not too bad there. That's probably all I need cut for now. Thanks.
This obviously links back to the cops' dialogue about people going crazy when things start to go wrong. The idea of just putting a gun to a kid's head and shooting them obviously displays some people have already realized what's happening, but some can't seem to accept it. People are going crazy in the sense of it. They're doing some extreme stuff to survive. But again, we get an insight into Lee's life again. He has an ex-wife and his parents and brother are in Macon and run a small pharmacy. And this is the city he is traveling to, Macon, where he's from. Lee offering his thanks, Sean asks Lee to help his dad in the barn, and right on cue, Herschel heads into the barn. Heading to Herschel,
you should know that if you weren't leaving with Kenny today, I wouldn't stand for your lack of honesty last night.
I'm not sure I follow.
I ain't dumb. I caught you in that lie last night about who you were with in that car. And honestly, I don't even want to know. How'd you get out of Atlanta?
I got a ride and then I was in a wreck. I walked until your boy found me.
Well, you're no worse for wear.
This farm's a nice plot of land.
Had you told me 20 years ago I'd still be doing this, I would have told you that you were full of crap. Never was a plan, having a place like this. It was in the family, and I guess so was I. Family's important. It's all that matters. You agree with that?
Was brought up to, yes.
Where's your family now? Parents? Wife? Girlfriend?
Now Herschel will most likely catch you in a lie or suspect you of lying and tell you he doesn't respect lying, which is fair enough, and he tells us his values of family first and hard work to ensure that they have a better tomorrow. Again, true things. And he asks Lee about his options, with an option about him not being close to his family.
My parents are in Macon with my brother.
Well, I hope they're all right. But now you've got this little girl to take care of. Clementine, is it? You just stumbled up on her?
And he also asks about how we found Clementine.
I was being attacked and she came to my rescue.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
Sure.
I don't know who you are or what you did. Let's say things don't get better back in the cities, or they get worse before they do. You're gonna have to depend on the honesty of strangers if you're gonna make it. And if those same people get to questioning yours, you're gonna be in trouble. But at least you have the common sense to listen to a man giving you advice.
And he gives us some sound advice. Rely on the honesty of strangers, but don't let them use you. A very good piece of advice, especially as time goes on and the apocalypse gets worse and worse. Oh, now that ain't good.
Go! I'll get my gun!
And we enter the first big choice of the game, the first life and death choice. Who do we save, Duck or Sean? Now, a lot of people don't remember this as the first choice, but this is technically the first choice in the game. The reason people don't remember it is because it's not really a choice. You don't really get a choice. No matter who you pick, it is an unwinnable situation for Sean. As we know, Sean turns into a zombie in the comic and even the TV show. He does appear as a zombie in the barn. So we need him to die to maintain the canon of the series. So even if you pick to save him, this happens.
I got you.
Eddie, don't flee! Eddie!
Yeah, you can't save him.
I'm okay, Pop. I'm okay.
I can fix you, don't worry. We'll stitch you up.
It almost got me, man. Lee tried to save me.
I know, son. Get out.
Get the fuck out of here!
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Your son is alive. You don't get to be sorry. You tried to help him, but this piece of shit let him die. You can't blame Kenny. The hell I can't. You watch your back. Until it's your daughter and you need his help. Please, just go. Get out and never come back.
With Herschel sick of strangers ruining his life, and I'm sure no other strangers will enter his life and ruin absolutely everything for him, he kicks us out of the farm and Kenny offers us that ride to Macon.
You've got that ride to Macon if you want it.
And all 5 of the crew leave to Macon. These 5 characters will act as our key characters for most of the game, specifically the main 3, Kenny, Lee, and Clementine. Now, something I don't agree with is Herschel blaming Kenny for what happened. Honestly, it was Herschel's fault in a way. Why? Well, he left the fence to get in the state that it is, in which 2 walkers, yes, 2 walkers could break the fence and collapse it on his own son when he had an accident. A bit stupid, but why is the fence even in this state to start with? But hey, if you choose to save Duck, he blames both you and Kenny, which
And you didn't even try to help. I thought I could help them both.
You thought wrong. And now?
Please, just go. Get out and never come back.
Fuck him still. Skill issue in my eyes. Should have dodge rolled the tractor. But this is meant to act as a first lesson for Lee. Not everything can be fixed by his actions, but he often has to make the choice to choose who to save at times. But again, this should instantly tell you as a player that you cannot control everything. obviously linking back to the cop's initial dialogue. Should we worry about things we cannot control? Are the actions that will happen in this game which we cannot stop, should we worry about them? Yes, we should prepare for them, but again, it's still shocking nonetheless. It's a very cool thing and makes sure that you are ready for anything that happens in the future, because we cannot save Sean, it's impossible. Now we arrive in Macon.
Well, this is as far as we're going.
And it's far enough.
Look!
Hey there, you friendly? Truck's run out of gas. Fuck!
And yes, they are that silly. And Duck, just like Kenny said, gets grabbed. And we meet our next group of survivors, or the main group that we're going to sort of connect with for most of the game.
We can't take risks like this. And we can't just let people die, either. When I say that door stays shut no matter what, I fucking mean it. We don't know who these people are. They could be dangerous.
Worse, they could have let them right to us.
Where the hell is your humanity? They would have died out there.
Then we let them.
We're not dangerous. Just regular folks.
What's dangerous is a bunch of people running outside and drawing their attention to us.
Lee's right. We're just regular folks, but we actually like helping people.
You'll have to excuse her. The hell he or anyone will. This is about survival. Do you guys not see what's happening?
Well, it seems things are getting a bit heated, arguing about survival, but what is the point of surviving if the next generation cannot continue once we are gone? In Clementine...
What is it?
I have to pee.
In a minute, Clem.
They've got kids, Lily.
Those things outside don't care.
Maybe you should go join them then. You'll have something in common. God damn it, Lily. You have to control these people.
Carly and Glenn just ran out there.
And she does a little bit searching.
I don't give a flying fuck. We're in a war zone.
She's not wrong. They took a risk.
Yes, we did.
And we appreciate it. Now let's settle down.
Holy shit.
But the big guy seems to believe that Duck got bit. A big debate starts about having to pick either to side with Kenny and defend Duck, or the wider group that we've just met.
Over my dead body, we'll dig one hole.
No, I'm cleaning him up. There's no bite. He's...
Jesus, this big guy is not the friendliest soul there is there? Now here they explain the bite mechanics in the Walking Dead universe, and that it makes you turn.
And we all end up bitten. Shut up. We gotta throw him out, or smash his head in.
Kenny, stop him!
Lee, what do we do about this guy?
Dad, it's just a boy. It's...
We reason with him.
With the bloody end of an axe handle, maybe. Nobody threatens my boy.
Everyone chill the fuck out! Nobody is doing anything.
Shut up, Lily. And you, shut the fuck up. They will find us, and they will get in here, and none of this will fucking matter. But right now, we're about to be trapped in here with one of those things.
What the hell are you talking about?
He's bitten! That's how you turn!
He's not bitten. Please stop this. It's upsetting him.
Now I'm going to explain the bite to you guys real quick, because a lot of people get kind of confused about the bite in The Walking Dead. The bite itself does not turn you. The bite in The Walking Dead gives you a cold or a fever that basically kills you. The fever itself kills you. Once you die, you then return back as a zombie. The idea of a zombie is that you need to die first and then be revived to become it. If you get bit and then you turn straight into a zombie, you're not technically a zombie, you're actually technically infected. It's a slight different thing, and some people make a whole hoot and horror about it. I don't give a fuck, I still call them zombies. So for example, most Korean zombie stuff, they're technically infected. Technically, if you want to get technical about it. But The Walking Dead, they are true zombies. They die and then they come back. But of course, this indicates something to you. Do you need to get bit to become a zombie? Spoiler alert, no. The Walking Dead, everyone's infected. If you die, you come back, no matter what. That is how the world fell apart, and it will explain that later on. Of course, spoiler alerts, all the Walking Dead media has this, but it's a cool thing to explain why no matter what you do, you cannot control it, because some people just die, and then they just come back and then they do something that is kind of bad, which is called biting people.
Oh, I'm upsetting him. Upsetting is getting eaten alive.
Dad, we get it. It's a big deal.
Do you? You're not fucking acting like it.
Sit down. That's it.
You're gonna whoop me? You and what homo parade? This one. That's good. Little boy, before you eat your mommy, you can watch your dad get his nose broken.
I'm gonna kill him, Cat. Just worry about Duck.
Lee!
Yeah?
There's someone in there.
It's just locked. Key's behind the counter. Probably.
Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. I'm just looking out for my daughter.
No, you're just the guy arguing for killing a kid.
He's covered in muck. She'll find the bite. Watch.
She won't.
And if she does, the first thing he'll do is sink his teeth into his mom's face. Then, when she's dead, he'll probably pounce on your little girl. She'll turn fast, and then there'll be 3.
It's a little boy. I think we can handle it.
A little boy? He'll be an uncontrollable man-eater.
It's not gonna happen.
It is. And we're tossing him out now!
No! You don't touch that boy! You don't touch anybody! I've got a little girl I'm trying to protect in here, too. You want to get violent, you old fuck? Well, come on! You better have a plan to kill me, though, because it's me before anyone else in here!
Well, it seems someone was in the bathroom after all, even they aren't too happy about their toilet time being disturbed.
Get away from her, you son of a Man.
Protecting Clementine, the lady with the Glock, saves us yet again, but with the noise of the gunshot, the walkers come stumbling to the doors.
Guys? Everybody down. Stay quiet.
They're gonna get in. Shut up.
Is that the military?
I don't know.
Thank God for whatever it is.
We almost died because of this bitch and a Richie Triggerfinger. That was stupid. That was...
Dad!
Well, that don't seem good, does it? Well, it seems this bloke has a bit of a heart issue. Maybe if he would chill out, we wouldn't be in the situation he currently is in.
What's wrong with him?
It's his heart.
My pills.
Nitroglycerin pills?
Yes, we're out. We've been trying to get into the pharmacy since we got here. Please try to get in there. Behind the counter where the pills are.
We'll get in there somehow.
Thank you so much. We need nitroglycerin pills. Please get in there. I'll keep an eye on my dad.
Everyone else should get comfy and look for anything useful. We could be in here a while.
I'm starting to think this drugstore isn't a permanent solution.
And let's get introduced to the rest of the cast here. Glenn here has a solution to our current predicament. Yes, the same Glenn from the comic and TV show. It is Glenn Rhee, the GOAT himself. He asks that he goes out to retrieve some petrol to fill up all of their cars so they can escape from the drugstore, which is obviously not a permanent solution, which he states.
You know your way around? Local?
Born and raised.
If you're gonna do that, here's a walkie-talkie if you get in a tight spot. Hopefully, you won't need it.
Cool.
Clementine's got the other one. Check in with her and get back here as soon as you can.
The angry lady and the big guy is Lily and Larry.
My dad's Larry.
Keep a good eye on him. These boys will work on getting you your medicine.
That's right.
And you keep an eye on that front door. You're our lookout.
The two on the door, Doug and Carly.
And I'm Carly.
Okay, Carly, you'll shift in with Doug when he needs it. For now, get some rest. You're a good shot, and I'd like to keep it that way.
You got it, boss.
Now get him.
Well, that ain't a friendly look, is it? It does seem here that Lily was the leader of this group, and Kenny taking charge and other people calling him boss. I think she gets a bit jealous and does not like the fact that people who just joined the group are now taking charge and controlling the entire situation. I'm sure this will definitely not lead to any arguments in the future.
Him those pills.
Now we have a couple smaller objectives to do around the drugstore, such as giving out some energy bars to the wider cast themselves, but we can also talk to them and get to know them a bit. First up, Carly.
You're a pretty good shot.
Well, you don't fuck with a reporter, especially one that's 3 days out from her last cup of coffee.
You seem to handle yourself pretty well.
Really? I'm a disaster.
I can't tell.
My news editor was eaten about 5 feet away from me, and I would have joined her if it wasn't for that dorky guy on watch over there.
I'm sorry.
She was an asshole, but, you know.
Yeah. That guy saved you?
Yeah, can you believe it? Those creeps, or ghouls, or whatever the hell they are. They were pulling our van apart, and that guy, Doug, just came to the rescue.
You can never tell who the heroic ones are gonna be, I suppose.
He's kind of cute. In that parents' basement sort of way.
Huh?
Huh? Oh, nothing.
How'd you end up here?
We drove up to cover the Cherry Blossom Festival. Real hard-hitting stuff.
Sounds worth it.
So Carly was a news reporter. She is someone that is obviously very much informed, but she seems to be having some issues with some electronics. She also was saved by Doug at one point when the outbreak started, and it seems to have caused her to sort of like him a little bit, let's say, after she was saved by him. But the radio itself, she seems to be having some big issues with it, so we take a look at it and we instantly find that there's no fucking batteries in it.
There are no batteries in this thing.
What now?
You know that there are no batteries in that thing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah. No.
I can try to find some. Needs two.
Thanks. I wouldn't even really know what to look for.
With her not realizing this one trait is obviously used to sort of give her a bit more of a humanity, because she is a bit of a cool, collected character. Some people might find it annoying because, hey, not everyone's great with electronics, but it is 2003, so electronics was still, you know, not sort of big mainstream stuff. I find it kind of cute because, hey, she's not perfect, and we instantly see that. Now, finding the issue with the radio, we offered to help her by finding her some batteries. Looking around the store, you can find the batteries eventually, 2 big old Duracells, and we give them to her and she inserts them, but she seemingly still can't get it working.
It's still not working?
Yeah, I can't figure it out.
Let me have a look at that thing.
Go ahead.
So we take yet another look at it, and Carly has placed the batteries in the wrong direction. Honestly, very cute, I like it. So we fix the problem with her, and we get a rather interesting broadcast.
You fixed it.
The estimated death toll continues to skyrocket. WABE urges you to stay indoors and avoid any contact with individuals you suspect may have been exposed.
The station is okay.
In the event of a full... my producer's telling me we have to get off the air.
Steve.
WABE wishes you and your loved one... God bless you all.
Well, that didn't sound too good, did it? And talking to Carly...
Hey there. That radio sign-off didn't sound too good. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You don't have to be. It's traumatic.
I'm sure some people got out. Maybe they're all being rescued. Then again, maybe not.
We can offer her some level of concern about her own mental well-being and show that we are a bit of a nicer person, let's say, compared to Lily, who seemingly is not the friendliest of souls. So this radio broadcast is obviously used to indicate the state of the world and how things are going in the human versus zombie debate. In The Walking Dead, the world itself falls apart very, very quickly. People don't treat them as zombies, they don't understand that they're a threat, so a lot of people died, but also the government made a lot of mistakes. In the TV show, in Fear the Walking Dead, and even in the new Daryl Dixon show, we see how the government were not ready to handle something like this, and some of them didn't even do anything for it. In addition to this, the radio station being completely destroyed will represent the outer world now losing contact with our group of survivors. It's 2003, so the wider internet doesn't exist. This explains why the information wasn't as widespread, as really, while the internet was very much there, it was very much in its infancy, and people mainly got their information, news, and other random shit that they want to know about from radio, newspapers, books, and word of mouth. So the radio station falling represents the wider world is now losing that connectivity that it once had. But also it shows that even these well-fortified places like a radio station, which is a fairly strong building, is a modern building, is falling very easily to the Walker threat. And it shows how desperate the situation is. Now, Carly having a direct link and knowing the names of the people on the radio station makes it more human. As a disembodied voice that we wouldn't know, we wouldn't feel as personal towards it. We wouldn't understand that this is a horrific event. We would sort of disassociate from it and not really treat it as a serious event. But because Carly knows these characters and we physically can see Carly, it makes it more human and more emotional, and it makes it more impactful, and that's the key point. The Walking Dead, especially season 1, they make these events very impactful, just like the first scene with Clementine where we see the photo of her family. They very much could have just left it as a disembodied voice. Giving a name or a face to the voice, it makes it much more impactful and a lot harder to listen to in general. Carly will very quickly become, in my opinion, one of the best written characters in the season 1 of The Walking Dead. She adds a lot to the story, and I think she is the best character out of these sort of side casts, in my personal opinion. Next up is Doug.
Heard or seen anything?
Nothing, luckily. Wanna step outside, have a look around?
I'm not suicidal yet.
No, the gate out there is closed. We can hang out in front of the store and be fine.
Oh, sure. Let's go have a look around.
Cool, and we'll keep it down. Don't need to bring them back this way with any unnecessary noises.
Agreed.
With him leading us outside, protected by the gate of the pharmacy.
Jesus.
Called Everett's Prescriptions. Yes, this is Lee's family shop. So as we're looking around, we will piece together what has happened to his family.
They just
eat. As far as I can tell, that's all I care about.
And if one gets you,
they eat you. And whatever's left comes back as one of them.
How the fuck?
I think it might be more than a couple days before all this gets sorted out.
Yeah, I think so too. We better keep it down out of here.
Talking to Doug, we can ask about the pharmacy keys, with him talking about an old couple they took out of the office.
Any idea where the pharmacy keys might be?
We searched high and low inside before you guys got here. They weren't on the old couple we took out of the office.
Which Lee is very much hurt by.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. If the keys aren't in the drugstore, think they could be out here?
We now live in a world where getting up and walking away is an actual possibility, so...
Right.
Talking to Doug about how he ended up here, he talks about how he moved to Macon to work with his uncle in tech, but he is a bit of a hermit, so he doesn't really know the area that well.
Probably knew the owners of this place.
No, not really. I've only been here a couple months and I spend a lot of time...
On the computer?
No, just doing my own thing. What about you?
I grew up here. Been trying to get home since the day I came back.
Oh, so you probably knew the owners then?
Yeah, I did. Good people. Look at the one trapped over there.
Better him than us, huh?
Now Lee spots an employee of the drugstore, his brother. He knows this, but Lee tries to hide the fact that he knows the drugstore itself and the family that ran it because he's, guess what, a fucking part of it.
He could be a drugstore employee.
So you're saying he might have the pharmacy keys?
I'm saying he might have the pharmacy keys.
I don't know. Could be anybody, you know? They start rotting and get all chewed up and...
Shut up, Doug. Look at the uniform, though. He could have worked at the drugstore and died with keys in his pocket.
It would take a lot of effort to make it safe enough to go out there and see if he has the keys. If we could somehow prove that he worked here, I think it'd be worth it.
But Doug explains to him that they can't risk going out there for what might be an employee. They need definitive proof. So we need to find proof in the store, of course. Heading back inside, we can look around, finding family photos, but Lee is absent from them, indicating that he was estranged from his family. Checking up on Kenny and his family, your previous actions will determine his dialogue.
Really gave that old man hell.
Yeah. We got pushed, you know?
You don't have to tell me. I was ready to tear the man's head off. Anyway, we, Kat and I, appreciate your support.
Thank you, Lee.
How's Duck doing?
He's okay. It was just a shock.
We're lucky as hell nobody got nabbed on the way in here.
No kidding.
How's she doing?
She's good, I think.
She's a tough one right there.
She's just a little girl, Ken.
Were you saying, Lee, she spent days surviving on her own?
That's right.
Not just any little girl can do that.
Well, even Kenny sees Clementine as special, a smarter child being able to survive days on her own. Now, with Kenny's family, we can reveal that Lee's parents did in fact own the pharmacy, showing that Lee does trust Kenny himself.
What's the plan?
Hang tight, I suppose. Seems pretty dangerous out there, so we ought to wait for things to clear up.
You said your family was from here in Macon?
That's right.
Where are they? Should we go looking for them?
They, own this place. They're, gone.
Oh, sweetie.
Cat.
They were good people. I wasn't around much, but yeah, they're dead. Are you guys all right?
We're just fine, considering.
How about you, Duck?
We've all been through a lot.
And Kenny now pulls aside and shows his guilt for his actions or questions if they made the right decision about letting Sean die on Herschel's farm.
Yeah.
I panicked, you know. I'm not proud of it.
It happens.
I guess. But I can't stop seeing him in my head.
Yeah, that's rough.
I killed that boy. We could have saved him together.
You didn't have a choice. You think you do when you look back on it. But in a moment, when things are really out of control, you don't have any choice.
I guess.
Try to let it go.
But again, it's not their fault, shit happens and you have to live with the outcome of your decisions, a key point we will learn during this game. Now I got a bit of a interest in the food prices here.
What, $1.75 for an ice cream cone? So at $2.50 for a milkshake? That's 50 cents for a coffee, Jesus. 75 cents for a tea. 75 for a lemonade, wow. It's very cheap. Limeade's 75 cents as well. An ice cream sandwich is $1.25, damn. Bro, a banana split is $3.50. Sundays are $3. Jesus, they're cheap as hell. We actually lived in this world. These prices are like...
Well, let's check on Clementine now.
Hey there.
Hi.
Can I, get you anything?
I'm okay. Maybe I'm a little hungry.
I'll see about that.
Well, Clementine seems to be doing pretty well, and she seems to be holding up pretty well. Let's check on Lily and Larry.
How's he doing?
I'm not sure I got your name.
It's Lee.
Lily. My dad's Larry. I was just doing what I had to earlier.
Everyone was.
Now his heart's acting up again and I'm powerless to do anything. And that violence before with my dad, that didn't help.
You're from here?
I work at Warner Robins, the Air Force Base.
Yeah, I know it. Pilot?
Nah, just mechanical admin stuff. I deal with a bunch of shitheads and bureaucrats all day. Sometimes a plane, if I'm lucky. You?
I work up at UGA.
Well, Lily is an Air Force mechanic, so she also has a very useful job. Almost all the people here have very useful jobs, except Glenn, who is a pizza delivery driver. They all have skills that are very valuable to a survivor group, and it will make you question if you have to pick one or the other in the future. These skills include things like the ability to use guns, mechanics, electronics, fishing, medical, and as I stated, pizza delivery. Now, Lily is a very interesting character. She's very much a hard ass with a short temper. Definitely from her dad, but she seems to mean well, wanting to keep people alive and away from danger.
Was anyone here when you guys got here?
No, this place was pretty wrecked. We pulled a couple of bodies out of the office. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Did you know anybody here?
Yeah, the owners, we were close.
I'm sorry. We found an older couple in the office. Dad hauled them out in case they weren't really dead.
What do you think about all this?
What is there to think? The dead are up, walking around, eating people, and turning them into more of them. I mean, Jesus.
We need to stick together and get through this. He's got a temper.
Ah, fuck you.
Yeah, he doesn't mean it.
It's just that...
Yeah?
We've got kids here. Families.
He and I are a family.
I'm just saying some people can't handle a temper like that. Hell, barely seems like you can.
It's just his way. Don't make him the reason everything's screwed.
That's not what we're saying, love.
Where's her mom?
Savannah, I think.
Oh, you guys aren't together.
Oh, no, I'm not her dad. I found her in a house when getting out of Atlanta. She'd been surviving by herself. I think the girl's parents didn't make it.
Oh.
I heard an answering message. They were in Savannah. She was home with a sitter. It wasn't good.
Well, she's lucky to have you. I'm gonna get back to him.
Sounds good.
Larry is a person who can and will cause a lot of issues in the future due to his temper. These type of people in any group, people like Larry, in any sort of survival situation, are less help than they're worth. They grind too many gears to make the benefits of keeping them around worth it. Larry is not a good person to be around, and I'm surprised that the survivors stuck with him for so long and will stick with them for so long. Well, with everyone spoken to, we now head into the office and we see where Lee's parents died. Now, with most stories, this setup would be for the child's parents. We would see Clementine's dead parents and we'd have to console her about it. But here, it's Lee's parents. It's a flip. And he's having to deal with them strong emotions, but he doesn't have anyone to turn to about it. He can't ask for anyone's shoulder to sort of rely on. He has to deal with it himself, and he has a little girl that he has to take care of now. He's in a very tough situation, and he has to just deal with it. On the floor, a family photo, and it is the only one with Lee in it. It is a sad thought, and it makes it very human. To me, it's a very powerful thing to show that, yes, his parents still did love him, even after he got sent to prison. But Lee, so disgusted by himself and not wanting to show that he's linked to this place, he rips him out of the photo, showing how he himself feels so estranged from the family that he doesn't believe he deserves to be in a photo alongside them. But Carly appears behind us.
Find anything?
It's a photo of the family who own this place. Might help us track down the keys to the office.
I know who you are. You're Lee Everett. You're a professor at Athens who killed a state senator who was sleeping with your wife. This is your parents' store. Folks around town know the owner's son got himself a life sentence, but I'm a reporter for WABE in Atlanta. I paid attention to that trial. Maybe you're a murderer, but I don't really care. Frankly, that's a skill that might come in handy. Did you tell anyone out there who you were, or that you were tied to this place?
No, I've been sticking to first names for a reason.
You seem like an okay guy, and the last thing we need is drama out there. You've got this little girl to take care of, and look, don't make me wrong on this.
I don't plan to.
Good, because if this lasts longer than a few days, and you're a detriment to the group, then we'd have a problem.
I hear you.
I'll just keep it to myself.
Thanks.
Don't worry about it.
So now we get the full story of Lee. The reason I didn't tell it earlier because I really like this reveal. I like it that the reporter knows us, and I think it's very suited, and it allows it to be naturally introduced. So Lee murdered a senator for sleeping with his wife. That dream that we had in the barn must be this exact event, but despite us being a murderer, Carly trusts us. She sees that we're a good person. I mean, what bad person would take a little girl under their wing to protect them in a situation like this? Now, we can either choose to trust Carly or not, with her knowing the information of being a murderer. If we do trust her, she seems to be happy that we trust her. Carly is a really good character, and she will become one of the best written characters in the first season. I really do like her, and she enhances Lee a lot and shows Lee that he is a better man. But if you don't choose to trust her, she doesn't seem to care. She knows that she has the winning hand here, and she can play us for however she needs to. So we just have to hope and put our faith in a stranger that they will be honest with us and not treat us any differently for what we did in the past, and hopefully just move forward from it. Talking to Clem.
Okay.
Everyone out there seem all right to you?
Yeah. Well, maybe not the sick guy.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him.
There was that thing in the bathroom. It tried to get me.
I know.
But you stopped it.
Yeah, I did.
Can you do that more?
Clementine makes it apparent she wants Lee to protect her. The two are slowly becoming more and more closer, with Lee acting more and more as a guardian to her and eventually will act as a father to her. Moving the pallet that is holding a door down in the office, The cane is a physical object that links Lee to his father. It is something that he remembers and he reminisces about. Obviously something that he looks at as something that protected the store in the past, and he sets it aside very gracefully, showing respect to his father himself. Even though they are estranged, he still cares a lot about his parents and his family in general. He respects them a lot. Moving the desk, we can talk to Clementine about how things are with the topic of people going crazy. It's almost exactly as the cop said. As soon as things are taken away from people, they go insane. Exactly what's happening now. Now, Clementine asks us about family and kids, but Lee seems to want to change the topic, with your only options being that, changing the topic, pushing the question aside. We learn that Lee is a history professor, so he knows sort of more historical stuff, and as I stated earlier, the word zombie was not used in The Walking Dead, but him being a history professor means he would know this word. Him knowing the word zombie would make sense. He teaches history at a higher level, so he would be more in tune with history in general and history of words, especially being a man of African descent. He is African American. He would probably be familiar with African history and understand the word zombie itself. But even after having this discussion, Clementine presses Lee for an answer about his family, and we can tell her a range of reasons why we won't talk about them. In my eyes, I think straight up telling her that they're dead is the most suitable answer. It makes sense that Lee would not want to talk about them. While yes, they're estranged, it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't want to talk about them because they're estranged. It would make more sense because they just died. He just realized his entire family's dead. Lee, to me, he is a man who was dealt a very awkward hand in life. He was given a winning hand. He was given cards in that hand that were winning cards. Queens, kings, aces. You know, he had a family who had a family-run business that was very successful. He had a wife, he had a good job. He had everything he wanted, but he couldn't get them last cards to fully get a winning hand. His wife didn't want kids. His wife cheated on him, which is pretty bad. And then he killed someone. Yeah, he did make some mistakes, let's be honest. Lee isn't perfect, but he was definitely getting a life that many people would desire. But one event spiraled into other problems that led into other problems, and that's kind of the point. Lee is a good person. Well, it's your choice to make him a good person, but in my eyes, Lee is meant to be written and played as a good person. You're meant to make good decisions, and you're meant to take care of Clementine, which to me indicates a good person. Someone who puts someone else's needs above their own. Lee is a flawed person, like all of us. But does it matter? No matter what is in someone's past, as long as they can work towards making themselves better tomorrow and becoming that better person, I think that's respectable. And I don't think we should really pull people down for what they did in the past. I think we should challenge them on it, but we should not completely prevent them from changing to become a better person in the future because of said actions. Of course, some actions are despicable and they should be punished forever for it, but I think Lee definitely deserves to be given that chance by others, especially for what he's done so far. Now, patching Clementine up after her injuring her finger, and here is some more gameplay Croc yapping about survival stuff in a zombie apocalypse.
One of the things, honestly, in the apocalypse that'd be so valuable is a good pair of fucking gloves. Where I work, but I used to not have, like the first day I worked there, I didn't have gloves, and the amount of cuts I got on my hand was insane. Like I think each finger had a cut on it. Like my palms are all like raised and everything. So like literally buying gloves, I can't remember the last time. I think the last time I got cut was, I think it'd be a splinter was the last thing that actually caught my finger. Got a really deep splinter. That's horrible, that took like a week to come out. Just hooked into my skin.
Interesting stuff, Croc. Now heading back to the main store, Clementine asks,
Lee?
Yeah?
You're not bad, right?
Why are you asking me that?
but what defines a bad person, and more specifically a bad man? Yes, Lee murdered someone, but does this one action define his entire person? And honestly, I'm just gonna say it, no, I don't think it does. Lee lost his temper and did a crime of passion. He killed a man for sleeping with his wife. He did it out of control, seemingly, and, you know, he just sort of had a rough time with it. He obviously had a very bad experience, but obviously that doesn't excuse his actions. But again, can we judge him for it? Like, we understand why he did it, but should we judge him forever for this one action? Some people will, I will say that, and some people definitely deserve to be judged for a certain action they do, but I think people need to understand that some people can change and become a better person, become a overall benefit for the world. And Lee will become that person. Lee will help so many people in this game, and I think that's a very good thing, and I think he atones for his original crime. And me being ever so optimized, and I want to be an optimistic person, I do believe that anyone can change for the better, no matter what they do. I genuinely believe that anyone can change for the better, and we should always help people to become better people. I do very much see Lee as a character that can change to become, and has the potential to become, a good person. But everyone can become good or bad. Everyone is grey until we choose the direction that we want to pursue life. It's always our choice. Choices change everything. Now Glenn calls Clementine on the walkie-talkie.
And, I'm kinda in a jam here. Little girl, if you're there, can you put your daddy on the phone? Or on the talkie or whatever?
This is Lee. What's up?
So, I'm down at that motor inn, and, well, I'm stuck.
Stuck?
Yeah, I saw a chance to get some supplies for the group, and a bunch of the Roman ones got the jump on me. I'm hiding over here, but they won't leave.
What's up?
Glenn's trapped down at the motor inn. Hey, Glenn. We're gonna talk it over and send a group to come get you, all right?
Awesome. I'll sit tight till then.
Sounds good. I'm gonna hold on to this until we get Glenn back, okay? I'll take good care.
Glenn is stuck at the motor inn due to getting caught off guard by some walkers. Lee, discussing with the rest of the group, asks Carly to join him, with everyone else holding down the fort. But first, heading outside with Doug, we can use the TV remote to turn on the tellies across the street, and Doug shows us his skills.
Think you can do anything with this?
You know what I could do?
What's that?
It's universal. I could program it to work with those TVs across the street. Let's just hope the power's still on.
You can just do that?
Well, I memorized all the codes when I was in AV. Let's try.
Doug is very skilled with electronics, understanding a lot of what makes them work and codes and everything else, a very valuable skill, which at first you might think, how is that useful? Well, he most likely understands how to take things apart and get materials that we might need. Things like springs, screws, other bits and bobs, certain types of metals, wires will become invaluable in the future and will allow people to create things that they would not be able to have before. Doug could create electronics from just scrapping other electronics, which would allow people to use them again. And now showing him the photo, we can now confirm that to him, yes, the walker under the phone line is indeed the employee of the drugstore, and he will most likely have the keys. And hey, here's some more zombie tips from Gameplay Croc.
See, what you'd want to do is they have like these big like pallets, or what are they called? What are they called? Boards, like these big boards, because it's like on the windows, for example. They only have them on this side, so the zombies obviously come in, they push on it, and they can push it and it flexes it. If you do it on the other side, you can make this like gap where they push in, but they can't fully push it in, if that makes sense. That's what you want to do.
Fascinating, you waffler. Now let's head out with Carly to the motor inn.
Get down!
Did you see that?
Sure did. Be ready to shoot.
Guys! Oh, man, I'm glad you're here.
Well, finding Glenn, we now enter what I call a combat puzzle. Basically, we have to do a certain order of events in order to achieve our goal. That goal is the room upstairs, and the objectives that we have to do in the meantime is kill the walkers round. We also have to save Glenn's damsel in distress, a true gentleman. Now, this engagement is really fun in general, and you have to find a way to quietly take out zombies, grab items to use against them. But first of all, you grab a pillow.
Good luck smothering them to death.
That's not really what I have in mind.
Smother a zombie and suppress a gunshot from Carly's pistol.
That was sick!
This then allows you to push a car in reverse and then push it into another walker, trapping it. From that car, we can obtain a spark plug, which we can then break open a car window with the ceramic inside of it to obtain a pick. Bit of a weird item to have in the front of your car, but hey, who cares? Using the pick, we can take out the last 3 walkers.
Lee, get him! Nice.
With the last one eating our pick.
Dude, where'd your weapon go?
Into that ice big-sized hole.
Holy shit. It's cool. Now we've got this.
But now we get access to the fire axe. Lee, taking the axe, tells the others to stay behind in case things get hairy. And Lee, fuck me, lad. Jesus. This to me displays Lee's physical prowess. Lee is a stronger man, physically able to completely cut a walker's head clean off with one swing. Not an easy feat, and not only that, he is confident in doing it. And now we approach our target.
We're here to help.
Please just go away.
Let's go, guys.
In a minute. If you open up, we can take you somewhere safer.
We've got a group in town.
No.
She's in trouble.
She seems very against us helping her, but hey, we have only good intentions, so of course we should help her, no matter what she says. So we start breaking down the door. A bit weird, and it's definitely a bit scary trying to kick the fucking door in, but the woman does come out. And she looks rough.
You're hurt.
Oh God.
I said stay away.
We need to get you help.
It's too late for that.
Guys, she's been bitten.
She has been bitten, and if Larry is to be trusted, the bite will eventually lead you into becoming a zombie.
Just leave.
Let's calm down. You could be fine.
I won't be fine. My boyfriend was bitten. You get sick and you die, and you come back and you kill anything you can find.
You have a boyfriend?
Glenn?
I don't want that. It's not Christian. Please, just leave me. Please go.
Okay, we'll leave. Just try to take care of yourself for whatever time you have left.
You have a gun.
So?
Can I borrow it?
What do you mean, borrow?
Give it to me. I can just, end this, and then there's no problem.
Whoa.
Please, I don't want to be one of them. They're satanic.
Now we get a very interesting choice. The woman asks for the gun to kill herself, to end her suffering, and we either give her the gun to let her shoot herself, allowing her to peacefully accept her fate in her own control.
Look at her, Carly. There's no happy ending to this.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you so much. I know how terrible this must be.
We can't watch this. Let's go.
We can't go yet.
What? Why not?
Because somebody needs to pick up the gun. Can't leave it.
With Lee staying behind to grab the gun, do not burden the others with the sight of what is about to happen.
You sure?
Yeah. God bless you, all right?
God bless you too.
I love this scene. Genuinely, I think this is the right choice to me. It shows to me Lee's heart that he is a very understanding person and he knows he can't fix everything. He can't control everything. This woman was doomed, so allowing her to choose her own way out is the least we could do for her to make a bad situation a little bit more comfortable for her. But what if we don't allow her to take the gun?
Give it to me, please!
This is crazy!
Please, step back.
It's just 2 seconds, just one bullet, and I can be with my family, and it'll all be fine.
Miss.
Back up, please!
Whoa, take it easy. We just want to help.
You can't.
Miss, just relax now. You need to think this through. We'll find you a doctor. It'll be okay. Let's all just... No!
Yeah, we should have just given her the gun. Returning to this door.
Yeah, we had some close calls, but Glenn is fine and, well, yeah, we're okay.
I've got a few cans of gas for your pickup in the trunk of my car.
Good to hear it.
And things back here?
Quiet. Our friend is still in and out over there. He won't survive any more stress.
The next order of business is getting those pills out of the pharmacy.
We can quickly check on Clementine, just to see how she's doing and her finger is doing, and we can talk to Glenn to get the code for the lock, because, he locked it, but he doesn't know the fucking code, so we're gonna have to break it. Now his next bit of dialogue is a bit interesting to me.
Back the motor in.
How can it be that bad so fast?
You know, when things are taken away, people do crazy shit.
I guess. But that's not me. I'm not giving up. Not for anything.
Good, man.
If you give the gun to the woman, Glenn states,
You let her do it, You said give her the gun.
I know I did.
Why the hell would you do that?
Mercy, man. I couldn't let her go on like that. We couldn't.
You never know. You can't give up hope.
I think it was over for her, Glenn.
You can't give up hope is a powerful statement, but did we do the wrong thing? Should someone be allowed to choose when they can end their suffering? Personally, I think they should be allowed to. We know that the bite is a death sentence. We know that if you get bit, there is nothing you can do. And we know that there is no cure for it because unfortunately, the world does fall apart. So should we be ashamed for allowing someone to choose to end their suffering? This happens all the time in the Walking Dead show. People kill themselves after getting bit because they don't want to come back. I personally wouldn't want to come back. It is in my eyes the more human outcome to allow her to die peacefully than allow her to suffer. And honestly, it's more selfish in my eyes to make that choice for her than let her choose her own fate. It's her choice at the end of the day. We didn't know her. We don't have a choice in the matter. She wanted it. Of course, in real life, in the current world, don't allow people to do this. But in a zombie apocalypse, yeah, do it. It doesn't matter. The world isn't going back to normal. If people get bit and they don't want to come back, let them accept their fate. And if they're ready to go, they're ready to go. But of course, if you're thinking this in real life, get help. Don't do this in real life. Please don't. Not good. Well, now going outside, we can break the lock, grab the brick, throw it out the window with all the TVs. And now the walkers go to the TVs, and we can now approach Lee's brother. This is a touching moment for Lee, and I love it.
Hey, bud. I don't know what happened to Mom and Dad, but I know if you were there, you would have died for them. So, yeah, I'm gonna assume that's what happened.
But it's then followed with him having to hack away at his brother's neck, making it more brutal feeling from the other zombies we've killed. It's very tough. It's very, very brutal. But it does show that Lee is willing to kill others that even he is very close to in this situation now. Lee retrieving the keys.
Holy crap! Run!
We dart back into the pharmacy, and now we have the keys. We can retrieve the meds.
Man, that was close. But we did it. It's all that matters. I've got the keys.
Great. God, you're amazing. Let's get in there.
Now, in The Walking Dead, something you'll very quickly learn is nothing ever goes according to plan.
Oh no. Shit. We gotta hurry.
With the alarm blaring, every walker in a 5-mile radius is now marching down the road to get their prescription. With the pharmacy quickly getting swarmed, the group start to evacuate and get out of there, with Kenny's family getting the trucks ready, as well as Lily and Larry going with them. Now Doug, Carly, Lee, Glenn and Clem stay in the store to keep the doors up for as long as possible.
Hey, Lee, if we don't make it through this, you should know that I think you're a great guy.
Gee, thanks, Doug.
Doug, if we don't make it through this, you should know.
I should know what?
Huh?
You said I should know.
Shit!
Are you sure?
With the situation slowly becoming more and more desperate, Lee asks Clem for something strong to stick between the handles, and her, ever being the clever one, remembers the cane, a symbolic item once used to protect the store, even now in the apocalypse, will be its last line of defense. However, Doug and Carly have been grabbed by walkers, and we get our first true choice, the most iconic choice, Doug or Carly. So why is this choice so important? Well, depending on who you choose, the other dies, and unlike the last one, only you can make the choice. Whoever you choose lives, and whoever you don't choose die. But let's outline both choices and let's weigh them up, shall we? Which is the best choice? Doug is a smart individual who understands electronics. He also seems to be very easy to get along with, meaning he will integrate into the group very well, and he has also displayed a high level of bravery with him saving Carly in the past. Doug is a key player in a zombie survivor group, a person who is ever reliable and never shaken from what is occurring. Then there is Carly. Carly has a gun, which is normally where people end it, but that's, I think, a bit disingenuous to just pick her based on the gun, as she actually has a couple of reasons against not picking her and picking for her. Lee having trying to hide his past, Carly is the only one that knows it, so if we let her die, it completely wipes that slate clean and helps protect us. But then again, Carly understands how to use a gun, a very useful skill which can be transferred and taught to others, and Carly is a more of a stern person. She stands up to Lily, the most hot-headed person in the group, apart from Larry, displaying that she could be a potential good leader and someone that you could rely on a lot to do things. She is also very willing to go out and get her hands dirty. She was willing to go to the inn with us to go for a jog, as she said. While Doug is more a follower type person, which is nothing wrong with that, everyone has a role to fill, Carly is definitely more of a leader role. She will definitely challenge leaders and make sure everyone gets exactly what they need. This choice doesn't have a right or wrong answer, as both lead to the same result, one dying, and honestly, both people are very valuable members of a survivor group, and who you pick honestly doesn't make a massive story difference to the general story events, but it just comes down to who do you prefer. Personally, I prefer Carly. After this moment, she starts to shine and become a very good character, especially with Lee. She becomes one of my favorite characters in the entire game. With Doug, he doesn't really get the same benefit. To me, it feels like Doug was definitely not meant to be the person you were meant to pick. He feels like he gets sidelined at points and sometimes, and he definitely doesn't get as many good moments as Carly gets, for example. But if you pick Doug, this happens to Carly.
Oh, man.
Holy!
And if you pick Carly, this happens to Doug.
No! Get him off of me!
Oh my god.
Let's go!
With the cars ready to go, the group start to run out, but not before Clem gets grabbed one more time. Us saving her one last time in this episode, and now trying to run out.
You're not covered with this, you son of a bitch!
Well, what a great way to go out. But a man who does a good deed is never truly alone, with Kenny coming back for Lee.
I'm not letting somebody else get eaten today. Especially a good friend.
Now we join the group at the Motor Inn, having cleaned out the walkers, hearing a radio broadcast with many of the cities being on level 7, 8 and 9 catastrophe levels. These mean basically government is failing and or has failed and people are dying rapidly. Shit's basically going wrong.
Did you check the glove box? I swear I saw it. You never pay attention to where you leave things. Can you just look at it? Everything we own would be lost if I left you alone for 5 minutes.
And we can talk to the rest of the cast. Approaching Glenn, he states that he needs to go back to Atlanta to find and help his friends, but Lily is a bit miffed by that. Now you can't convince him to stay, as he needs to go and join Rick to maintain the continuity of the universe, but we can say to him that it's what he should do, and honestly, it's his choice at the end of the day. He picks what he wants to do, we can't force him to stay. With Glenn leaving, he leaves the group in the past, and we will never see him again, and I hope that he lives a long and fruitful life.
Hey, kid.
Close call back there.
Thanks for picking me up.
No problem. We have to take care of each other.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, about Clementine.
Yeah?
Earlier I said there's some stuff out there that might screw up a precious little girl like her.
You did.
Well, I still think that's true. But after what I saw today, I think between you taking care of her and her taking care of herself, you two are gonna be just fine.
Kenny is happy with how we're treating her, showing that we are being a good person. Now, depending on who you saved, Carly or Doug, will determine who you talk to next. First, let's start with Doug.
How you doing, Doug?
I don't know how hard it is to keep track of things. It's not like we have much to begin with.
Doug?
We couldn't save her, could we?
I don't think so. It happened pretty fast.
I know it's stupid. We just met. It's dumb, but I mean, it's probably just that survivor thing. I really liked her.
She liked you too.
Thanks, Lee. Anyway, I'd rather be alone, I think.
I understand.
Wait, Lee?
What is it, buddy?
How did you choose? I mean, we both needed you. You picked me.
I thought you needed help.
No. I guess that makes sense.
But it wasn't a choice like that. It was just something I did. I don't know why.
I just wish you would have picked her.
Doug very clearly has survivor guilt, feeling that he was at fault for Carly's death, but we can console him telling that Carly did indeed like him, in that mum's basement kind of way. Doug is a character that is burdened by this fact. He wishes that things would have been different, but unfortunately, you can't change the past and you can only change the future. Now what about Carly?
How you doing, Carly?
I'm okay. You know, considering.
I do, yeah.
I can't stop thinking about Doug. We couldn't have saved him, could we?
I don't think so. It happened pretty fast.
I know it's stupid. We just met. And he was such a... It's just that... I think that I liked him.
Carly is a bit different. She does think that she liked Doug and she is obviously upset that he's dead and we can console her about it, but she doesn't seem to be too hung up on it like Doug was. She doesn't feel a tremendous amount of guilt, which I think does show that she wasn't like super close with Doug and she knows that, but again, she is still a bit upset with it. Now checking on Clementine, Larry gives us a bit of the eyes, and Doug, being a pro-yapper, we tell him to chill it and we can talk to Clementine to see how she's doing.
I'm sorry, there's not a lot of kids here.
No, it's not that. It's... I got grabbed again.
I was there, though.
I fell, and my walkie-talkie broke. Glenn had the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks. I know I need to be tough. I'm just sad. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's how I used to talk to my mom and dad. And now they're gone. It's gone.
Maybe we can find you another one.
I'll just keep this one, I guess.
Clementine is obviously very upset that she's becoming a bit of a burden to Lee in general with her getting grabbed quite a bit. And of course it's a thing to be upset about. She knows that she's in danger and she's making mistakes, but we're always there to protect her and we let her know that.
Lee, come here for a second.
It looks like Larry wants to have a chat with us.
Go deal with this.
Oh man, Clementine, another thing.
Oh man, Clementine.
And asks us,
You like my daughter?
well, want my opinion, lads and lasses? She's definitely not my type. She's a bit too mean and angry, but hey, if you like that kind of woman, the one that berates you and belittles you, knock yourself out. But Larry reveals,
well, he did that because he knows that Lee Everett is a convicted murderer. And so will everyone else if you go near her. You hear me? I know who you are. And I don't give a shit about what happens to you. But if anything happens to my daughter or that little girl you've got with you, you watch your ass.
Hey, Lee, do you have a second?
It's not like we have much to begin with.
My dad would be dead if it weren't for you.
That guy Doug is dead because of me.
You can't be like that. You're only one man. We're lucky to...
Larry may be busting our balls, but Lily is thankful for what we did for her, and she's thankful that we got her father the medication, and she's happy that we're even here in the first place. And here is our three main leaders for the group. Lily on one side, Kenny on the other, and Lee in the middle as a mediator. In the future, you basically have to choose between these two of who you side with.
I actually agree with that plan.
Me too.
We got beds, we got water, and most importantly, we got light. There are worse places to call home.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure this solid setup will definitely hold up, and they even have electricity here. How fruitful. And so ends Telltale's The Walking Dead Chapter 1. Overall, I absolutely love the first chapter of Season 1. In my eyes, it is the perfect start to the season. Brilliantly introduces all the main characters and cast members, giving us a clear sense of who they are, what they stand for, and what sort of relationships that might be built with them, while seemingly setting up key mechanics like the choices in the game and their potential impact that they can have on the story. It's not just about what's happening now, it's about laying the groundwork for what can come in the future of this game. We also get a glimpse at some of the challenges that may arise in the future. Larry, for instance, seems to be the main issue. It seems like he's going to be a major source of tension in the group himself. His tendencies to pick fights and dredge up the past to justify his actions makes him a bit of a wild card and very difficult to predict. He will clearly do anything to protect his own daughter, but in doing so, doesn't seem to care who he steps on. I'm sure nothing bad at all will come from his actions. Aside from Larry, the rest of the characters all seem solid, and their dynamics are already shaping up to be interesting. However, the loss of electricity in the world might become a bigger issue than it seems right now. Survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about adapting, and this group is going to have to learn very, very quickly. All in all, this chapter's overarching message to me is one of hope. It reminds us that no matter how bleak things may be, it's important to hold on to hope and work towards a brighter tomorrow. If you believe in the possibility of a better future, you can always find the strength to keep going. And that's a powerful note to start The Walking Dead Season 1. Next time on critcroc.
I thought we'd be fine if we survived the walkers. Never expected they'd starve us out.
I want you to have this, okay? In case you or Clementine starts feeling weak.
You don't owe me anything, Carly. How you doing, Clementine?
I'm really hungry, Lee.
We gotta get food, Lee. Soon.
Howdy, I'm Andrew St. John. We're from the St. John Dairy.
It's beautiful.
Don't repeat what happened with the walkers at Herschel's farm. You choose the kids this time.
Something's coming, Lee. There's gonna be a war.
The walkers don't worry me as much as the bandits.
You fucked with us! Now we're gonna take what we want! There's too many of them!
You've never liked my dad. Even back in the drugstore whenever you thought Kenny's kid was bit, you went out of your way to side against him.
You all thought Doug was bitten? Well, I'm just doing the same thing. We know this guy's not gonna make it. This isn't happening! No more, please! No more, please! Lee, please!
Hey, thanks for watching. I know this video was a bit lighter on analysis in general, but that's because I was kind of saving it for the next few videos. Of course, this is only the first video in a 6-part series, so if you enjoyed, please do like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think of it, because I hope it's good. But I will be planning on doing this for a while now, doing these videos specifically. Of course, as I stated, I will mix in some other videos here and there, with maybe some games that you guys have recommended. There is a game coming out soon that I'm interested in checking out, so you might get something different. The next video will be the episode 2 of this series, so I'll be doing them basically back to back, but hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you to all company members, Chelsea and Tyler and Marty Morris. Thank you for joining the Croc company and supporting me. It is greatly appreciated, and any support you guys give me, I very much appreciate it. Just watching the video is enough for me, but thank you for going above and beyond for little old me. Anyway, that's enough waffling from me. See you around, Crocodile.